Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Second video of 2023, and man, do we have something to talk about. That if you were born prior to 1999, you're getting a glimpse of something you never knew existed. If you were born 1985 or newer, side note, Prince came out with the song 1999, released in 1985. And we're going to talk about today something that we were able to trade in, a 1999 Toyota Cilica GT soft top convertible. This is the condition it came into us. So let's talk about where it came from, how long the original owner had it, and then I want to talk about some things that in 1999 that this car had that obviously years prior we never knew existed. And what we know now in 2023, this car being 23 years old, what we now know we could never live without. And for some of you, you could never drive this car because it doesn't have some of those things. Let's talk about a few things about the 99 Cilica GT. So this is the last year of this body style, of this particular production model of the Cilica GT. That was produced by Toyota. So some of the things in 99, if you go back and look at the history of what cars looked like and designed, and being 53 years old, the generation of 99, kids that would have been driving this car, young adults that would have been driving this car, when it was released, it was at the top of Toyota's chain for sports cars. It's not a performance, per se. It's not very quick, but having a two-door, four-seater convertible sports car back then was highly sought after. One interesting fact about this red color in 99, there is some actual imperfections in the paint, some fading. There wasn't a huge tricolor multi-paint process that takes place like there is now. This is how we traded it. I didn't do anything to it. I haven't even washed it. This vehicle was bought by this owner that traded it to us in 2000. And an interesting fact was it was an actual Toyota factory employee's vehicle for the first 4,200 miles of its ownership. And then this gentleman bought it from a Toyota store and was the second owner per se. So he actually had the car from 4,200 miles. I think there's 167,000 miles on it now. Service records, he did everything, timing belts, valve covers, anything that was recommended, he did it. The interesting fact also is that 23 years old, he only drove about 7,500 miles a year when you divide the 167 by 23 years. And to get a mechanical power top in 1999 was something that wasn't profound in the industry. Some of the things that Toyota did back then, they still do today. So if you can take yourself back there, if you're of the age that can, you saw these, you thought all the rich people had them. I think MSRP was somewhere in the low 20s. If it even touched that back then in 99, which was expensive for the time. Anything comparable to this now is $50,000 in 2023. You have to look at the top to understand that it was garage kept. One thing, Savannah, I forgot to point out on the front, the headlights have not been replaced. They're factory headlights. And look at the clarity of the headlight, which gives you an idea that it was in the garage. These imperfections in the paint, unfortunately, without clear coat, is where either sap or bird dropping set and they weren't off in time and it did eat through the paint. The fading is the same thing as now in a three-stage, four-stage actual paint. You have a little bit more of it so that the sunlight and the atmosphere and the acid rain doesn't fade. As you move around to the back, one cool, interesting fact in 99 is everybody wanted a spoiler on their car. Toyota did it factory. Obviously trunk, I'll open that in just a second. You can see on the spoiler that he's tried to touch up the fading. And this is probably something that I will leave this way. I'm not going to spray it in red now because it obviously won't match. Bumper fadings that you see on the plastic just because of the paint that was used at that time. There is a key There's no key fob. There's no push button start. This key you can get cut. I do have the factory key that has just the black around it with a Toyota symbol, but you get one of these cut at the Toyota store for very cheap. So you did have to carry the key with you for some reason. Trunk, plunger still works, which is pretty amazing. The antenna power, the mask is there, but the motor is just spinning. So that's something that we'll look into replacing. It should be pretty inexpensive, or I'll just get a rubber replacement or whatever for that. So pretty good trunk space. I think back in the day, you could not fit golf clubs. Was one thing you saw a lot of people riding around with the top down, golf clubs sticking out of the back. I had someone tell me a long time ago in this industry that the top down in an inexpensive car, the air feels exactly the same at 65 miles an hour as it does in a $150,000 convertible, and I've never forgot that. So let's get inside and look at some of the things that are inside. This is a typical Toyota interior back then, up until probably 2006 and 7. The dashboard, the seats, the console is the same as in Corollas, Camrys. This stack was a little bit updated in a Cilica, a little bit more sporty. Steering wheel as well. It has a tilt feature just up and down. You're not pulling it out towards you, none of that. This is cruise control. It's currently not working, and we probably think it's a fuse or a module. It's just not coming on. So it does have power door locks, which was not common in 99. It has power windows. One interesting thing that you will see, I'll just turn the car on real quick, is it has controls for the front windows here that are power, right, in the door. There's a door there. But the passenger on that side cannot roll the window down behind you, Savannah. If you turn around, the little window when you put the top down, right? That remote is up here behind the gear shifter for these two windows, and they call them rear, and you roll them down like that. A lot of people that you'll see driving this car around, or in earlier stages, back in 99, 2000, they would have the top down, these windows down, but they forgot that the glass was open in the back. Nowadays, what happens when you put tops down, if they do have that, they roll down automatically. So people don't even have to consider that being done. The interior of this, no cracks in the dash, no cracks in the airbag, no cracks in the glove compartment. Normally in this year with a convertible sitting outside, there would be some of those cracks. Steering wheel, you can see no cracks on the steering wheel. So it's cool to know that this car existed when it existed, and 23 years later, it's still here in this condition. A convertible top is power, pretty simple to do. There's two clips, just like in today's modern cars. Yes, you have to use the key, no push button. Turn the car on, and a pretty quick, I think they said it was under 10 seconds back then. Tucks right back down in the back, and then you're ready to roll. It's amazing to know that 23 years old and that still works seamlessly, right? You can see green was a popular color back then for the controls. Air condition works, heat works. I didn't test cigarette lighter, but we might as well. And I was wrong a little bit on the miles. It's 172,000. There was also no auto on. Blazing hot, 1999, right? No auto lights, so you had to remember to turn them on, turn them off. Again, no power seat, no blind spot monitors, no backup cameras, none of that in 99. And this was, as a GT, pretty much most of what you could get in it. Again, I'm glad that we got it. I'm not sure what we're going to do with it yet. I have a sentimental attachment. Just anything from 99, and that saying about 75 miles an hour in a convertible is the same and inexpensive as is high dollar. And going into the spring, it's pouring down rain and nasty today, so it won't be a day. We're going to check it out from front to back, make sure everything's functional. We might put it for sale, we may not, but I asked my 15-year-old son, and he didn't have any idea, obviously, since he was born in 07, what it was. He said, it's not a Porsche. And I said, yeah, you're right. So, definitely not. But 23 years from now, whatever we have now
We'll
will look
look like
like this, and we'll say, that's all it had in it? It only had blind spot and radar cruise. It didn't have this? Anyway, we appreciate you guys. Comment down below if you would drive it, if you wouldn't drive it, if it's too old, if it's ugly or outdated or beyond your years, or if this is something that maybe your father, your mother, your cousin, your sister had, whatever, and you remember riding in it for the first time when it came out or when it was a hand-me-down. So not many parents handed this down to their children. I put this right beside the old 300ZXs. That's what this was in competition with back then. And my father had one of those, so pretty interesting. Thanks again for watching. Please subscribe, please share, and we look forward to the next video.